Welcome back to the channel. We've got our Nissan Titan recently purchased, and I want to show you. We always have a storage problem, so let's open the tailgate. It's a slow open. I like that. It doesn't slam bang. It had the sprayed in bed liner, Line-X, and it's really nice shape, like they never put anything in there. But you see what I got? I got a mat. This came with a soft tonneau cover. It's a trifecta, and it works good. But I'm not a fan because when you're driving, it's flapping around, it's soft. I had what I have in there? Storm door or something the other day. Something was sticking up and it was sharp, and I thought I was going to poke a hole in it. And it didn't, but I worry about the longevity of these. So I'm trying to open it. The handle didn't flap. And I want to show you what I want to do. There, we got that open. See the dust that collects underneath it? It moves up and down, a lot of airflow in there. So what I did is I check on Marketplace, and I was like, what can I do with this? I want to do like a bed pull out like I had in my other truck. And that Joey bed is in pretty rough shape. And I said, I don't know if I want to put that heavy thing in here. That wasn't really that heavy, but it's kind of ugly. And I got looking online, and I saw side toolboxes. And they're pretty pricey. $700 for a pair of them, used. And I thought, well, how much are they new? And I come up with $1,100 new each. So $2,200 in tax. I said, whoa, I can't do that. But I went on, kept checking the Marketplace for a few days, and I found some. And here we go. Brand new pair of them in the guy's garage. He bought a Titan, and it came with some accessories, and he didn't want the accessories. Don't know why. So this is, gave me a key. I gotta get over here so I can reach it. I don't know, maybe I locked it. I didn't. But see this, brand new. Beautiful. The thing is, I don't know how to install them. I see they have an opening here and an opening up there for your bed tie down. So obviously it goes all the way forward. And then there's no visible bolts other than that one. And inside, it looks like two more. So looking on the bed of the truck, I've got knockouts in different locations, and that's it, with nothing in them. The Frontier had little, you know, welded in nuts, whatever you call it, inserts in there. So I didn't want to start cobbing this up, so I said, well, I'll get the kit and I'll go ahead and put the inserts, and they're quite cheap on Amazon. So I found a bolt kit. They're hex head, 280 pieces, quite cheap, cheaper than you can buy them down to Lowe's. And I got the rivet nut and hand tool combo with the different bits. So what I want to do is see what ones would fit in there so I can attach this so it looks kind of attractive. Directs. We've got M3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, and 8s. So hopefully we can get one or two of them to get on each side. And then we got the tool. And here's the tool. Get a little wrench. We got our tips in there. Yeah, we just got to figure out how to use it, right? So we'll open this up. I'm going to see which sizes would fit in there and where they locate. So I want to slide this up in place. But before I continue, when I was there, it was Marketplace fine. Guess how much? You'd never guess. 2 brand new toolboxes. He said, it's set in the garage collecting dust. He said he didn't want them. $75 for the pair. Well, it was about a 40-minute ride. And I said, I'm on my way. Gave my phone number, the whole deal. Said, I'll be right there, 6 whatever o'clock it was. And showed up, and it's a no-brainer. And they even say Titan on them, so they're exact fit. And I want to know, they may fit with the rail system, and I don't have the rail system on this. I would consider getting it. I don't know if I need it for tie down points and so on. But, and then also for that rack, you know, the bed extender, I'm considering getting one of them. But I'm not going to buy any of this stuff new. I want to find them used. You get them quite reasonable. And when I carried one out of the garage, I was walking on this mat here and went back up to get the other one. And I said, what's this? And he goes, oh, yeah, you want it? You can have it. And I said, well, it's a mat. And he goes, yeah. So he carried it out and he threw it up in here and unrolled. We're exact in place, exact fit. He says, you can have it. I'm like, awesome. Because I put my gas cans in here, went to the store, got my gas, come back, the gas cans are way up front, you know how that goes. The mat keeps things stationary a lot better. And if you want to go on your knees, it's a lot more gentle on your knees. And I said, hey, well, what else you got? You got anything else? And I was just kind of like joking. So he said, oh yeah, I got some Titan, even though they're Pro 4 Max, they're Pro, yeah, 4X. He says, I got 4 mats, you can have them. Awesome. And I said, anything else? I was still joking. I said, anything else? And he says, sure, I got this tonneau cover. Well, it is a solid fold, which is just like on the Frontier, and it's in great shape. And got a little dust on it sitting in the garage. And he said that fits it too. So I got 2 toolboxes, floor mats, bed liner cover, and the solid fold, tri-fold tonneau cover. So we're talking a gold mine. I got everything from one guy cheap. And I said, good. He said $100 on the tonneau cover. And I'm like, really? Awesome. So I got a deal. Got all this stuff for $200. And he gave me the other 2 things there. And so I said, well, I'll get this little kit. So I got this. I want to get this bolted in here. I couldn't find much online how to install these or anything with a track system or anything. But I think this goes through the track, or the track goes over this, holds the front, you know, the top in. And I think we'll just slide it up there, and I'll check the holes I got, and I'll see which inserts would fit in that. So check it out. Slid right in place. And then you still have your tie downs. And there's another little lockbox here. You can put, I don't know, a bungee strap or something in. That's kind of cool. And then you got drink cup holders here. You can reach over the bed and get your drinks. And like I said, this locks. Now, the only holes I see, do they line up with anything? They do. So there's a hole there, so I know we can bolt it there. I'll have to get a light out here to see the rest. And then down there, looks like one lines up also. So that would be awesome if we can get this to work at, like, you know, $20 or whatever this kit is. And see that? The holes are right there on all of them. So I can put 4 bolts on each side. So, and then down there's the other one. Perfect. Okay, for the example on this side, you'll find one that fits in there, doesn't fall through. That would be that one. And then for these, at the top, next size up, that fits in there. So that's a finished look. And you just got to put it in the tool and expand it out. And so follow the directs here, right? So we spin our spindle in, put the nut on, gotta do it counterclockwise, and then we install the rivets, these rivet nuts. You turn it clockwise to install the rivets, and then the rivet nut assembly is completed, and then you insert it into the drilled hole, and then you squeeze the handle with both hands, and then rotate the spindle to separate the spindle from the rivet nut, unscrew it, and then the rivet nut's complete. And so this should work great. And I'm just gonna, it's getting kind of dark out, but I might do one tonight. Otherwise I'll finish this tomorrow. And worked all day. I'm kind of tired, but I was excited about getting this tool in. So maybe I'll try one down here that's easy. Well, that worked rather well. You just screw your bit on the right size, and then you thread this piece in first, and then you thread your nut on to lock your nut on. Then you pick your part, thread that on, and then you adjust your handle and get in there and give it a couple squeezes, and that's it. She's locked in. This comes with some washers and stuff if I want to use them. And there's a bolt in it. That's it. That's pretty simple. Now these up here are larger size and the bottom ones are smaller, so we'll get them put in. Well, that was the easiest ever. I did them all right now just to get it over with. I spent 10 minutes on all this. Look at that. So now we got nice attachment points. Slide it in and bolt it up. So I'll probably finish that in the morning. Like I said, you just set your nut on your tool, set it in the opening, give it a squeeze. That's it. All done. There's one setting in there. Here's the other one coming in. The holes are lining right up. Here we are the next morning. Late morning, actually. It's hot out. Now you can see those rails stick up. And so I believe this is for the deck rail system that uses this bolt. And then there's little brackets that go on it, but we don't have to worry about that, I don't believe. So I think this is designed to do both. I think we can still put the rail system on if I want to use that. I'm going to try to find one. And we put in them nut inserts. Now we're going to pick the bolt we want to use. I'm going to use probably the gun to drive them in. We're not going to get them that tight, but I'm just going to run them in. What I don't like is the hole size is huge. What they should have done is a little dimple. You know how they press a little dent in it, and then if they don't line up exact, which they don't, they're close, but see how they're off? I need a big fender washer, but they did a big hog hole there, so the bolt will go right through it. I don't want that, so I'm going to look for some washers, and I don't have any black ones. It's a shame. I might actually spray paint them. They'll dry quick in the heat here. And just so it looks factory, you know. Meantime, I brought out this cover, and I'm going to take that one off and store it in the building, and I want to mount this one up there after I get this box on. But I can see much better if I take that off. I'm going to roll the truck in the shade. All right, there they're installed. Yeah, I'll have a little bit of storage down in there. The wheel well's inside. So you get a flat stretch here, which is 48 inches wide. I should be able to get a sheet of plywood right in here. And there'll be a little room in there. I can throw a couple little tools, bungees, stuff like that. And then this locks, and then it's got a winter weather cover. And so I think they'll be handy. What else can you use that little spot for, you know? Not much. So, and if I put the lock and tonneau cover on, I don't have to lock the lock. But if you leave this bare, you know how people like to walk away with your stuff. I think they look good in there. And then that little back pocket will be handy if you want to, maybe a little ratchet strap or something so you can tie your load on. Have that so you can get right to it. Now what I want to do is put the solid fold, tri-fold hard cover on here. And that just, I'll line it up square and lock the tabs underneath. It's got the spin rods, so they just go up under the lip here. Tighten it up. When I was installing the first one there, I gave it a squeeze a little too early, and see what it does in this knurled part. It expands. What I did is I went against the sprayed on liner, and there was a chunk that was in the hole, and what I learned is you just take a knife and clean that hole out so it can go in all the way. It wasn't in all the way, and so I ruined one of them, but shows how they expand and they can't come out of the hole. Well, there we have it. Don't they look good in there? I think it just need a little cleaning up. Probably just get some armor or whatever works good on the plastic. And then I do want to get a few more accessories for it. Remember, I had a bed slide, and it's nice so you don't have to climb up in there. This tailgate doesn't have a step in it like the F-150 did, and I don't have a cap on it. I prefer a cap. If I can get a cap, that would be great. I'll have to do some measurements because a lot of people, when they list them for sale, they don't even say much of anything, a 5 foot or a 6 foot. They don't say dimensions. You got to ask them 10 times because everything doesn't fit. I want to get a measurement like to this outside edge and then the inside edge. That makes a difference when you clamp them on versus bolting them on. And then front, some of them have, it comes down like this and curves forward. This one can, but it may not have to. And then on the back, you want to make sure it clears the tailgate. So you need a dimension. Usually I do from the corner in the center and then hook it on so you get the right number. The other thing I want to get is possibly the bed rail slides, whatever you call them, where you can have your tie downs at different locations. Like I used the little Nissan when I got the air compressor. It was on sale and it was already on a pallet. So they just set it up there with a fork truck and I needed places to tie down. And here, there's a tie down in the corners, which is good, but there's nothing up high. And so if you put something tall in here and you want to strap it, you got to try to get down in there. So I want to look for some bed slides, whatever you call them, brackets, and then possibly a bed extender, that thing that flips down. I'll show you in the Nissan over here in the Frontier. That the, I don't know, it's kind of handy. Sometimes it looks goofy, but this will lift up and down. And then your hooks can tie in these tie downs here and those up there. And you see this one's a solid fold also. And this seals up nice. It works great. You could probably walk on it, you know. And we're up here in snow country, so it's going to get a little weight. And that's another reason I don't like the little one. Plus, if you put your tools in there, somebody can poke a knife in there, rip it open and get out whatever you have. So I kind of find them useless. You can never walk on them. A tree branch might fall on them, poke a hole in it, you know. So I'm going to put this hard cover on, and this has these front locks. I'm going to loosen this up, bring this over to the bed rail, lift it up, clamp it, and then I'll leave it loose and I'll check my lengths and check it for square, make sure it's running even on the sides, and hook that down. And what I did on the toolbox is instead of cutting the mat or trying to put the mat in later, which you'd have to cut it, is I went over that. So that gives me a nice tight edge and kind of should keep the debris from going down under it, you know, dirt, dust, wood chips, whatever crap you want to put in there. And having this in there just going to make this so when I put my gas cans or something up in there, they don't take off and go for a ride, because this bed liner is pretty slippery and it's also very hard on your knees, and that rubber is a little bit softer if you got to climb up there. So the other side over here has a step. It doesn't really move much, so I'm going to get under there and see if, you know, maybe it needs lube, maybe they never used it, but this swivels out so you can step there. That's definitely going to help me get in, and so I want to get that working good. Probably spray it, and then the cover, and I want to check on a truck cap. So let's put this cover on, see what it looks like for now. And I think what I'll do is I'll grab paper and I'll write down the dimensions of everything I mentioned first before I put this cover on for a future cap. And on the 150, that came with just a tonneau cover, a soft one. And then about, I don't know, 2 weeks later after I bought it, I found one in actually the same town I got these parts from. And it was like $300. And I got out there and the color was so close that I didn't paint it or nothing. I bolted it on or clamped it on and I was done. And that worked great for 10 years. And you get more headroom. You know, if you want to put an object in there, it'll stay. And if you want to sleep in there, you can probably. So I can't with a tonneau cover. And the only thing nice about the tonneaus is you get a lot of visibility. And what I'm going to like about this one is looking out the window or in your rear view mirror, you see that old soft cover flapping around. I don't like that look. So this should work good. And let's get this thing on. I'll get some numbers wrote down first and see what this looks like. So I just unfolded it and it lines up pretty good. It's a little bit dirty. We knew that. Just dusty. It was in the guy's garage. So I'm going to clean this up when we're done. I see there's a little wrinkle here. Looks like it got near some heat. Now this guy had a new chainsaw in the garage there. I wonder if he was monkeying with that next to it, because he had actually two chainsaws right next to where this was at. He said he was tinkering on them, but I guess I'm not going to complain. We didn't unfold it or anything. I was just excited to get it, you know. But yeah, I think other than that, sun shines on here, so we've got a couple different colors. I think this just needs a little armor all or something. So plastic restore and get on there. And I'm going to go in, I'm going to tighten up the two front ones and then lock the back ones. All right, this is what I come up with. I measured the box. It's 70 inches outside, front and back. And it's 62 inside, front and back. 65.5 inches long inside. 68.25 outside to the curve. And let's see if there's one more number. Yeah, it's 70 from outside to outside, and then the tailgate's curved, so it's the longest point, and then 68.25 is from here to the corner. And so I'm going to keep that on record, take a photo, have it with me, and I'll check around. I'd love to get this color. It's a pretty blue with a metallic. A white one probably would work, a black one might work, but you know, color would be pretty nice to get the same thing. So let's try this tailgate, see if it closes good. And I guess prior to that, see our locks come in and it stays out of the way, so you can still open this corner box up. And that's, like I said, we can throw bungees and crap in there or whatever. And then that's it. You can't get to them if this is locked. So let's see how this closes. Awesome. So that should be waterproof. Needs good cleaning. We got room up front. It's a 1/2 inch away, 5/8, about 5/8 of an inch away. I probably could move it back slightly. I didn't want it much past this point. And that's a solid fold 2.0. And what is it? Truck Hero. And this should work good. You don't want to get too close, because these two move independently slightly. And if it's on the same way as this, see how the tailgate sticks out farther, seals down nice and tight. So I'd love to drive both trucks and use a little one to do my running around, and this one for trips, and you know, you want to get more people in kind of thing. Use that as a grocery getter, but insurance is so much and things anymore, and maintenance, that I might just let that one go. I thought Dawson might want it, but he's thinking he wants to keep the car. So this is putting accessories in. I think I made out good. I might have misspoke when I said that I paid $200. I really didn't pay $200. I kind of give them a little tip. What it was is they said they wanted $75 for that. And I said, you got anything else? And I was walking on this mat because they were placed on top of it and in his garage. And he says, yeah, I got to get rid of that. And I said, well, I don't have one. And he carried it out and he threw it in there. It unrolled and it fit perfect. And I'm like, wow. And he goes, you can have that. And oh, I got one other thing. And it was the floor mats. He went over to his truck and they were in the back of his truck. And so it was $175 for this stuff. And when I was giving him the change at 2 different points, I just gave him an extra $25. I don't want you to give me all that stuff. So that's where the $200 is. I paid more than they were asking, but I got all these items. So kind of a strange way to say it, but that's what it was. I gave him a $25 tip because I was excited. It was one person. They had everything, and I didn't have to drive around and ask and do a couple different posts on Marketplace. So thanks for watching. This is going to be a great setup. I'm going to be looking for a truck cap, but right now this thing's going to work great. I'll probably keep the soft fold I got, that trifecta, keep that in the shed. And then I'm going to get this cleaned up and polished up. It's got like, it looks like pollen, I guess. They probably parked under their trees with it like I do. It's got pollen on it. So I'll get this cleaned up, and it's going to look good on there. I want to work on the step next. I'm going to lube that up and get that to swing out so I can step right up in there.